Welcome to Spurs and Heat post game. Miami Heat took the win 98 to 96. They even up the series 1-1 heading back to Miami. In the game, LeBron James 35 points, 10 rebounds, very nice double-double. He just played a flawless game. 37 minutes, he shot 14 for 22. He was able to be their defensive presence. He was able to move the ball and work the ball. Miami definitely moved the ball better than San Antonio, and they were more consistent about it. San Antonio had times in the game where they were moving the ball and things were flowing, offense was flowing, and then the ball movement stopped. I think a big reason was Kawhi Leonard. He was picking up stupid fouls, and he was on the bench, and that really killed their ball movement. Boris Diaw, he's not your premier guard. Actually a power forward. So Diaw he had a decent game. He put up 7 points, grabbed 10 rebounds, but they need him to produce more. Against the Thunder, he was, putting up 15, 20 points, and that is the performance that they need out of him. Other guys, Danny Green, only 9 points. He shot 2 for 3 from three-point land. He's not there as much as he was last year. Last year, Danny Green, definitely the standout. He was flawless, absolutely just nailing three-pointers left and right. Not so much this year. Just nobody's really stepping up too well. Manu Ginobili, 2 for 7 from 3. That can't happen anymore. Really, the Spurs had the momentum. They had the lead. They had things going. And then Mario Chalmers hit Tony Parker in the ribs, and it went downhill from there. Spurs missed 4 straight free throws, and the Miami Heat just took that momentum and ran with it, and they eventually took the lead and got the win. So at the end of the night, the Heat just had the better team. I'm honestly surprised they didn't win by more. The offense was there. Chris Bosh, absolutely, one of his best games. 18 points, 3 rebounds, not much there, but you can't talk about the things that he didn't do that are not on the stat sheet. The things that he did that are not on the stat sheet is what made him have just an amazing game. He was able to create space, and he was able to make crisp passes. He had a very nice play. He was able to, shot fake, pass down to Dwayne Wade straight for the layup. He's able to hit Rashard Lewis for the triple. He's able to see the floor better, and I think that's what's made him better in this playoff series and this go around of the playoffs. He's definitely been a standout in some of their games, and in tonight's game, he definitely played extremely well. For the Spurs, leading scorers, Tim Duncan had 18 points. Tony Parker had 21. And again, the Spurs team just wasn't the same after Parker got hit in the ribs. And it was just... They called it a flagrant 1, which means 2 shots and the ball. Tony Parker missed the 2 back-to-back shots, and that just set the tone for the rest of the game. He got taken out of the game, and it just, in my mind, it went downhill from there. Earlier on in the game, Tim Duncan came out, and he was playing amazing. The whole entire Spurs team was just playing amazing. They were making shots. They were moving the ball. They were getting it into the paint. But at the end of the game, the Heat were able to force that outside. They were able to protect the paint. Chris Anderson came in. He did a very nice job of protecting the paint. Also a good job of getting into the paint and scoring a little bit. He had 3 points, 9 rebounds. He was able to grab some rebounds. He was a defensive presence, and, 9 defensive rebounds out of his 9 rebounds. So he was definitely there. Uh, he was definitely a big defensive presence against the Spurs team, and I think he's one of the main reasons why this Heat team won. He was able to shut down the post. Chris Bosh did a nice job of shutting down Tim Duncan. At the start of the game, it looked like Tim was going for 30 points tonight, but he was able to stop him at 18. I think Chris Bosh definitely a big reason for that, as well as Chris Anderson. They got Greg Oden thinking that he would be a crucial factor going throughout the playoffs, but you look at it and Bosh and Anderson have done just fine. Anderson's come off the bench. He's able to grab rebounds. He's played physical. And really, he's been a presence. When he's on the floor, everybody knows that he's there, and they're more cautious of where they're throwing it, and the ball movement stops. And in a post-game interview, Greg Popovich definitely said that the ball movement was off and on. And it had to be on more. They had to be able to feed the post and make those shots in the post. Now, Mario Chalmers for the Heat, that's kind of a different story. He wasn't in as much foul trouble tonight, able to move the ball well. Just all in all, the Heat team, they outshot the Spurs, which really surprised me. They shot 52% from the field. The Spurs shot 43%. And what I think is a crucial stat, the free throws, the Heat were 16 for 21, and the Spurs were 12 for 20. So definitely, it came down to those free throws, and you look at it. Parker makes his 2 free throws. It's a tie game. We're going into overtime. Tim Duncan makes his 2 free throws. Spurs win. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily the reason why they lost, but if they would have made those free throws, Spurs could have won that game. Also, the lack of Spurs defense down the stretch and their offense, little to no penetration whatsoever. But those free throws, and it also took away something that you cannot replace, and that is momentum. It absolutely killed the Spurs' momentum, and from there on, the Heat took that, and they were able to go down. Bosh nailed a 3, and it forced the Spurs to call a timeout, and it was just over. So, big game for the Heat. They'll head back to Miami Tuesday. We'll see what that game brings. Should be pretty exciting. The Spurs trying to take the lead as well as the Heat. They'll try to take the lead. They're in Miami, 9 o'clock on ABC Tuesday. For those of you listening, in the morning, we are re-airing this broadcast in the morning. So I thank you guys for listening. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to talk to you on Tuesday. Thank you for listening.